Hello, my name is Dmitry Arefiev. I'm working at Embarcadero Technologies as FireDAC developer. My presentation will be about FireDAC tips and tricks, which are coming from the FireDAC technical support. Then I will talk about FireDAC news in XS7, and finally questions and answers. I want to start from how to properly configure database client. And the most common question is, it sounds like I installed database client, but getting error, cannot load vendor library. So why is it? What is the reason for this issue? And the answer on this question depends on what kind of a driver you are using. So when you are using non-DBC based driver like Interbase or MySQL driver, then you should perform several checks to verify that your client library is correct one and is accessible to your application. So first you should check that client library is in path variable or in application executable folder. For that I will use which command line utility. So let's try to find Interbase client gds32.dll, and you see the output of this utility. It shows that I have gds32.dll in Windows System32 folder. So first check is passed. Next, you should verify that the client library has correct bitness. And for that, I will use standard Embarcadero standard utility, which is tdump. And I prepared two libmysql.dll. One is x64 and another one is x86. So I will run first I will run this utility for x64 library, and we'll try to find CPU type, the output of this utility, and you see that this is really x64 library. And if I will run this utility for x86 library, then we will see output, and now we are sure that this is really x86 library. And if your application is x86, then you should use x86 libraries. And if your application is 64-bit one, then you should use x64 64 library type. And if everything looks okay, but still you are getting the same error, then probably you have the LLHEL issue. And now you should use process monitor from CC internals and analyze what database client is trying to load. And if your application uses RDBC-based drivers like Microsoft SQL Server driver, then you should run corresponding RDBC administrator utility. And the main point here is to run the proper RDBC administrator. Next, what I want to talk about is how we can configure a FireDAC connection. So most, let's say, standard or classical way is to fill in TFD connection.params. But FireDAC offers several TFD connection.open overloaded methods which allow you to specify FireDAC connection string, and then you will get a more compact and more simple code. So you see here two calls. First one accepts full connection string, and another one call, it accepts connection string and username and password as separate parameters. Next, really common question is how to run a connection editor at runtime. It's really very simple. You just should know the name of FireDAC unit which contains connection editor, and just call the dialog. And let's see how it works. Yeah. So this is classical FireDAC connection editor dialog. Okay, so next, also standard and common question is how to exclude catalog and or schema name from an object name. So normally FireDAC at design time returns object names which are including catalog and or schema names. So means FireDAC returns a full object name. And to suppress some parts of this full name, you should use method def catalog and method def schema connection parameters. Then we will specify method def catalog equal to some name. Then FireDAC will omit the catalog when it is equal to this name. And if you will specify method def catalog equal to star, then catalog name will be removed unconditionally from the full object name. And similar is with method def schema. So let's see what FireDAC returns for Microsoft SQL Server. Now I will specify method_def catalog and method_def schema parameters with stars, and now catalog and schema names are removed from the object names. Now I want to talk about different possibilities to execute SQL commands in FireDAC. And again, most standard way to execute a SQL command which will return a result set looks like assign a SQL command to tfd query.sql property, then I will specify parameter values, and then I will call open method. And if I need to do that several times for different parameter values, then I will call close, assign different parameter values, and call open again. With FireDAC you can do that more simple. tfd query has several overloaded open methods, and first method, it accepts SQL query as first parameter, and then accepts open array of parameter values. So instead of these 4 lines, we may have just single line. When we will need to re-execute and to reopen query for different parameter values, then just call open method and specify in our parameter values. Yeah, more simple. Similar is with SQL commands which do not return result sets. And standard way is to assign a SQL command text when to specify parameter values and to call exec SQL method. Then if we need to execute this command for another parameter values, then we will assign parameter values and call exec SQL again. FireDAC tfd query has several exec SQL overloaded methods, and like open as a first parameter, this method accepts a SQL text, and second parameter, open array of parameter values. I want to say that tfd connection also has exec SQL overloaded methods. So the question is when to use tfd query and when to use tfd connection to execute SQL queries. The answer is simple. You should use tfd query when a command returns result sets. Then a command has output parameters, and then a command should stay prepared to optimize performance. More simple is you should use tfd query, then you should keep a state of your SQL command. And you can use tfd connection in all other cases. Probably in future I will continue to provide you some tips and tricks which are coming from FireDAC technical support. But now I will talk about new features, FireDAC features, which we have introduced in XE7. And here is a list of these major features. At first is TFD batch move, new component. We implemented new real BLOB streaming feature. We provided support for SQL Server file stream. We made TFD connection.params expandable in design time property inspector. Also is provided new IBLite driver, and we made several extensions to TFD schema adapter to make it more convenient and useful in different applications. So TFD batch move and new ETL page. Maybe you know that FireDAC had TFD data move component, but the problem with this component, it had monolithic architecture with limiting capabilities, and actually it was never documented. And now we deprecated this component and introduced a new TFD batch move component. With this component, we also introduced reader and writer abstraction and several TFD batch move reader and TFD batch writer components. Right now we have dataset reader and writer, which are working with datasets. We have text reader and writer, which are working with text files, and we introduced SQL reader and writer components with RaidML support. Finally, we introduced FireDAC ETL page and moved TFD batch move and TFD script component to this page. And let's see in IDE. This is this new page. So how to work with TFD batch move? At design time, you should drop. Okay, let's see in the code in IDE. So I will drop TFD batch move, then I can drop, for example, text reader component, and I should set TFD batch move reader to the corresponding reader component. Then I will drop SQL writer and will set batch move writer property to this component. After that, I can set up reader and writer to move the data from text file to SQL destination. And at runtime, the code is quite simple. So we can create reader and to specify batch move as an owner of this component. And then reader property of batch move will be automatically set to this reader. The same with writer. Finally, we can call execute method to move the data from reader to writer. And here is the list of TFD batch move samples. So I will open most simple demo. Which will demonstrate how to move the data from text file to let's say data set. Here I will also use GWS format method, which allows to automatically recognize the data source format, and actually this also simplifies the process of working with text files. Next demo is a more complicated demo, which uses TFD LocalSQL and TFD batch move. Let's see. And this demo implements kind of SQL database which uses text files, and this demo will execute the SQL command against the text files. Yeah. Finally, you can check the FireDAC source codes and see how it's implemented copy command of TFD script. Next new feature of FireDAC in RedStudio XC7 is real blob streaming. So this feature allows to work with blob field values in effective and low resource using way. So in past, to assign a value to a blob value to a parameter, we was using such method and properties like tfd param dot load from stream, properties like as string, as blob, as memo, and when you assign a value to a parameter, then FireDAC was storing a value inside of parameter. Then FireDAC was storing a value internally in a special buffer, which is bound to a lower level database API. Then database API itself may buffer a value internally before it will be transferred to database. As a result, the memory requirement was maybe 3-4 times more than original blob value size. And the performance was around 2 times more slow than it really possible to achieve. Finally, it was possible just to transfer the value in full, and you cannot just to read or write some chunks of a value. And here you see the classical code which loads a blob value from a stream. with real blob streaming, we have implemented support for external streams. External streams is a stream which is provided by application to FireDAC. And FireDAC internally will read or write this stream. And here you see the code sample. So the same SQL command, insert command. Then we set parameter data type to ft_blob and assign a stream to the parameter using asStream property. And after this assignment, FireDAC will manage stream internally. You should not release the object. Then we call exec_SQL and the stream will be internally sent to the database. Next option is internal streams. Internal streams, they are streams which are wrapping database API, and they are provided by FireDAC to application. Then application already can use them on its own. And the code sample, so the same SQL command, and now the difference. As data type, we should use ft_stream data type. Then we should specify a stream open mode. Then we call exec_SQL, and right after this call, a stream reference will be accessible to application. And now we can work with a stream, read or write it. And several considerations regarding blob streaming. At first, the memory usage is as minimum as it possible with the real blob streaming. Next, all blob stream operations must be performed in a transaction. This is actually a requirement of most database APIs. Internal streams are not supported for some databases. They are not supported if database has no blob streaming API. But external streams, they are supported for all databases. Internal streams usage is error prone and must be done very carefully. At first, you should release reference to internal stream as early as it possible, because different operations, FireDAC operations, may invalidate internal stream reference, and in best case you will get some database error, and in some cases you can get just access violation. So just be very careful. Internal streams may not support all T-Stream API. For example, several operations like seek, position, or size, they may be not supported, and that depends on the database. Means if database provides corresponding API, then internal stream will support these operations. as I already said, we implemented support for SQL Server file stream, and just want to note that it is a very special case of blob streaming. And now the list of FireDAC demos which demonstrates how to use blob streaming. I will open the main demo, blob streaming demo, and actually you see all details how to use blob streaming in FireDAC. Next new feature is changes in the TFD connection.params. So in past there were several ways to fill in params. First, you can use TFD connection design time editor, and specify the parameters at design time. Or you can work directly with params as a string list, and you can specify all required parameters. And you can specify all required parameters, like you see in this code sample. Now, params is not t-strings, but it is TFD fis connection dev params class. Still, you can work with params the same way like before, and we have added two new ways. And let's see in the IDE. So TFD connection, and this connection object is set up to work with Microsoft SQL Server driver, and now I can expand params property and can specify connection parameters like normal properties. And you can do and you can specify connection parameters at runtime, and just you will need to cast params to corresponding connection dev params class corresponding to the FireDAC driver. So this new approach gives you possibility to use in the code editor syntax highlighting, code insight, and verification at compile time. But the cons of this approach is each database driver has own class. So this runtime code will be, let's say, database static. So if you need to implement the code which will work with different databases, then probably you should work as before, just to fill in params collection. Also, we have implemented new FireDAC IBLite driver, which simplifies development of IBLite applications, and we added several new methods and properties to to TFD schema adapter, and this method actually allows to serialize and deserialize TFD schema adapter, and this extends the usage of FireDAC centralized cached updates. So thank you for listening me, and just want to note the places where to communicate, and I will suggest maybe to more often check, read, and post to Embarcadero FireDAC forum. Finally, you always can write email directly to me, and here is my email address. I will be happy to answer on your questions. Thank you.
There were several questions that came in. One of the questions was, in the video there was lots of samples of Object Pascal, syntax, and so on. But Timur asked, can you use C++ with FireDAC?
I will send to you, David, the slides version with C++ code inside, and the same with samples. Yeah, actually, it's ready, and just question to send to you.
Let's see. He asked, could you use FDM table or use FireDAC in the replacement for T-client dataset?
Yes, let's say you can use TFDM table as a replacement for T-client dataset, but at first, when you are using T-client dataset as a standalone in-memory table, still, if you are using T-client dataset as a client of Midas server, then FireDAC cannot replace T-client dataset. But still, you can use Embarcadero, the upcoming technologies like EMS solution, and there you can use not just you can, but you should use TFD memory table.
There was questions about things like how to access SQL databases where there aren't specific drivers for FireDAC. So for example, if they have an AS400 or some other database and they want to use FireDAC, FireDAC has support for going via DB Express drivers if they exist, or through ODBC, right?
With FireDAC, you have actually two options to work with any one database. First option is to use FireDAC ODBC bridge driver, and it actually supports most ODBC data sources. Another one option is to use FireDAC DB Express bridge driver, and if a database has DB Express driver, then you can work with database flows with FireDAC bridge driver. And finally, if you have, let's say, some specific database data access components, then you can use them in FireDAC also, using FireDAC LocalSQL feature, which allows to query actually different data sets, including third-party data sets.
Excellent. There was a question about working with PostgreSQL, and I mentioned that FireDAC has a driver for Postgres. I think the question was, can they do database backup type operations with Postgres and FireDAC?
FireDAC provides several components for backing up different databases, but at the moment it does not have a PostgreSQL backup component. Probably it will be implemented in the future, but at the moment more simple will just to execute PostgreSQL standard utilities, and moreover PostgreSQL license allows to do that.
Okay, I was just typing answer there. No problem. Let's see. Are FireDAC components in the FireDAC connection, are they thread safe?
Yes, sure, but the main rule is each one thread should use their own connection and corresponding query components. Yeah, that's that's it.
All right, there's one more by Alan, and I think I'll have Alan email you directly. It was a question about, and we had some emails earlier, Dmitry, about what about building drivers for FireDAC for other databases?
Yeah, we are working on additional drivers, and the next Red Studio version, we will implement Teradata native driver, and other drivers also are in the work.
Okay, I was just typing that answer, and I suggested that Alan just contact you directly as well. He was mentioning that he has some some other databases, and he needs something more than just ODBC, and he said it was urgent and critical. So Alan, just send an email. Dmitry, his email address is on the screen right now. Okay, let me see. I think that was okay, and Alan says he will do. Thank you. So again, the information about FireDAC and the databases it handles directly is on the FireDAC page and in the doc wiki and the documentation. So it lists the different versions. For example, for Postgres, it was version 7.4 and later for Postgres server and advanced server, but you can go and see for each of the drivers which minimum version of database they need to have. So excuse me for okay, but if you're wondering if it works with the version of the database that you have, you can find that all in the FireDAC doc wiki for each database type.
And I would want just to suggest to everyone to visit and to post your questions to Embarcadero FireDAC forum. At least I am trying to answer to all questions in this forum, and it's very active actually. Just you're welcome.
Excellent, Dmitry, and those are all the questions. Thank you very much. I know it's very late over there, so I want to appreciate you staying up so late to be part of CodeRage 9.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you to everyone. We'll be happy just to answer to emails and to your questions in the forum. So let's continue to communicate.